Good morning. Welcome to Trading Together. I'm Mel Gacee, and we are day trading live today. So glad that you've joined us. We're going to take some trades today. We're going to do some analysis on the market. We're going to do some learning, and I welcome all questions and comments. If you're new, if you've not traded before, or if you're trying to get started, you're at the right place. I'm going to help you get yourself started trading. You can take trades live with me, and any questions you have, go ahead and throw them out there. I'm open to all questions, and don't ever be afraid of making newbie questions because that's why I'm here. I want to help traders get started. So let's start off this morning with a little bit of market analysis. We are in the middle of a pretty sizable sell-off right now. We're down about 38 points on the S&P 500, and that is measured by yesterday's close. So if we take a look at the charts, let's see if I can zoom out a bit here and show you. Here's our sell. We're coming in to the morning. Now this is a minute chart. So let me zoom out a little bit more. We're coming into the morning with this drop, and then we got a little kind of recovery here, another little drop, another little recovery, and then boom, very steep drop. And now we're in the middle of a small recovery. So what we're watching to see right now is, are we going to continue to move up? Are we going to get what we call the V-shaped reversal? Looks like a letter V. We do get those a lot of the times. We'll see a steep sell-off, and then the buyers will come in. They like the level, and they'll just buy it right back up. That could be happening. I'm still waiting to see. So we're kind of watching this move right here. So it's kind of pulled up here. We got up to the 20. This is the 20 period moving average right here. So got up to there, beat it a little bit, and then came right down below it. So we're still waiting to see if this is indeed going to reverse back to the upside, or we're coming back down for some more pain. All right, so let's take a look at, I'm going to get back to that chart there. All right. Yeah, so nice little continued drop here. I am currently in a trade. I'm currently in a put. Now remember, puts mean that we think the market's going down. Calls mean that we think the market is going up. I always say, when you get a phone call, you pick it up. When you get a call, you pick it up. When you are done with your call, you put it down. Calls are up, puts are down. That's an easy way to remember the options that we want to trade when we are kind of waiting for these market movements. Okay, my put is looking good here, getting ready to get out of it. Just watching to see if we're going to get a farther drop. And I will say I'm having quite a bit of slow response on my Thinkorswim today. They must have put in some new installed some new updates, because I'm really struggling here with this response time. All right, this trade is beautiful. I am out at 12%. We're not going to call that a trade on the stream, because I didn't get into it with you. I was already in it when we got in, but it's a win for me. So I'll be happy with that. All right. So we are watching to see if we have any other trades coming along. Again, we got this major sell-off happening, and then this bump, and then this little push down. And would we get a new low of day. Right down here at SPY 673. That's pretty low number. So where do we go from here really is the question. And how do we trade this? I'm looking for this to give us another little blip like this. We can trade these little blips. If we think that we're going to continue the sell downward, and we get these little push ups, we can trade that little blip, which is exactly what I did right before I joined the stream. But right now I've already traded this move. So I'm not going to trade this move again. That's one of my rules. I usually don't trade the same move twice. So that is one of my rules. However, when we get a day like this and it continues to sell, I will be looking for small moves to the upside that turn around and continue back down, which is exactly what we're doing right now. Quite a bit of downside movement here. All right. All right, just checking the charts here. Still continuing down. Pretty impressive sell-off here. And believe it or not, we can make pretty good money when the market dumps. In fact, usually I make better money when the market drops than I do when the market climbs. I make money both ways, but there's an old saying that says the market takes the stairs up and the elevator down. And that's true. It's true for the most part. When we see the market moving up, usually it's climbing along. It doesn't usually just rocket up, although sometimes it does. But when we see it moving down, we tend to see that move happen a lot faster. And so when we get that kind of volatility in the options, though, that pays nicely. So as a day trader, as a scalper, I'm always looking for volatility. That's where we make the money. All right. So we are a good bit below the VWAP. And as you all know, that is one of my favorite indicators. That is this white line right here, the volume weighted average price. It's very much, we talk about this every day, it's very much like a moving average, but it's weighted with volume. And so it gives us a little bit better of a feel for where the price wants to get to. It acts like a magnet, right? So you can see earlier in the morning, we could see, let me kind of zoom in more so we can see that better. We can see, so remember it's the heavy white line. We could see that it was coming down under, coming up to it, under, over, under, over, under, over. So it acted as a magnet for quite some time until it began the sell. Now, as we've sold, it has continued to move down. You can see that's a downward trajectory. And eventually, this price is going to meet back up with the VWAP. It doesn't have to happen today, but chances are good that it will happen today. Sometimes we can just get a directional move, a trending move that just goes on all day. Those days are rare, but they do happen. And on those days, we never do come back and retest the VWAP. However, I think today we might come back up and retest the VWAP. Again, the VWAP has moved down. So right now it's sitting right here at 677. We're still a good piece below it. We are sitting at 674. So we've still got a ways to go to try to come up here and test the VWAP, but the VWAP will continue to drop because it is a lagging indicator. It's a lagging average. Excuse me. So it will continue to drop down. Now, if the market takes a sudden turn to the upside, eventually the VWAP will also turn upward, but like I said, it's lagging behind, so it won't happen immediately. All right. And I just got a brand new camera. I can see that the color palette seems a bit warm, shall we say. Looks like my face, looks like I'm in hell. My face is red. So I'm going to have to fix that up here in a minute. All right, getting a little bounce up here. Could we consider trading calls? We could, but we're a fair piece below the VWAP, and that's usually my sign for whether we're moving to the upside or the downside. However, I may trade calls here. I'm looking at 675, 674 calls. Those will be the first call, the first strike at the money. And that's usually what I trade, is the first option in the money, whether it's a call or a put. All right, but we're not getting a continuation yet. No continuation to the upside just yet. So I'm going to hold on to this call order. I'm not going to place it right now because I don't have the confirmation yet. Confirmation is key. We don't want to get into trades without knowing that it's a good setup. I'll tell you, this delay on my thinkorswim is really rough. It is really, really getting to me. It's been very challenging to trade today. I have made money today, but it has been challenging. It has not been easy. It's just super delayed, giving me a lot of grief here. All right, we're coming back up to the 20 where we were before. Let's see if we push through it this time and continue upward. I think it's possible that we do. We're also currently testing the low of day from yesterday. I mark those lines out on my chart every day. They're important. So we beat the low of day, meaning we came down below it, and now we're trying to recover it. If we recover that low of day, we're up over this 20 period moving average. If we recover this low of day, I might consider jumping into some calls. Let's wait and see what we get here. Just sitting right at it. Not moving very fast or very hard right now. Very kind of slow little ticks right now. It's trying to push through. It's very slow moving right now. Sitting right on this low of day. Little pullback. And we're just waiting. And as you know, I say this a lot, 90% of trading is waiting. It really, really is. Waiting for the right setups, waiting for your trade to play out, waiting for your charts to get to the levels you're expecting. It's lots of waiting. Trading will definitely grow your patience. That is exactly what trading does for you. It grows your patience. All right. Now we're kind of moving up again, back up here at this low of day. Not committed yet. It just hasn't committed yet. The other thing we notice is that our VIX is getting a little bit of a move down. Remember that the VIX usually runs inverse to the markets. The VIX is the volatility index. It is known as the fear gauge. As the VIX moves down, usually the market moves up. As the VIX moves up, usually the market moves down. It runs inverse, usually. So we are seeing that the VIX is giving us a little push down here, and that's corresponding to our little push up here. So I'm just trying to gauge if there's an entry here, because we're just really not going anywhere yet. Just kind of hovering in this area. All right, I kind of like this. So we're just still hovering here. I'm not quite ready to take the call, although now we're getting a little, hopefully now we're getting somewhere. Let's see. I'm going to take a look at the option chain. So this is where we place the option order. This is the option chain. On the left, this is thinkorswim. On the left, we're going to get calls. On the right, we're going to get puts. We are looking for the first option in the money. That's the shaded area. So if I were to take calls, I would be looking at the 675s. Those would be well, now it's moving, 674. Those would be the first options in the money. If I were looking at puts, I'd be looking at the 675s, first options in the money. That's how I like to do it. I always like to take as close to the money as I can get. All right. Moving back down again. No trade at this time. No calls, no puts. So remember, when we're trading options, we are not trading the stock itself. We are trading what's called a derivative of the stock itself. An option is a derivative of the stock. And that is because its value is derived from the underlying stock. So in this case, we're trading SPY. There are options on SPY. The value of those options the value is based on what the SPY itself is doing. So again, if SPY goes up, all of these options that are on the call side, those are going to go up in value. This number right here, this is what we pay for. This is the premium. So as the SPY goes up, this number goes up for calls. As the SPY goes down, this number goes up for puts. And that's confusing, right? But when the market is going down, puts are gaining in value, calls are losing in value. So we want, remember, call up, put down. So when the market's going down, that's when we want to see the puts start to increase in value. Now let's take a look and see if we're getting closer to maybe taking a put here. Are we getting closer to a put? I wouldn't take a put just yet, and here's why. We have a short-term bottom right here at 673. It's our low of day. Now, it doesn't mean this will remain the bottom, but it is our current low of day. There isn't much room between this candle and this low of day. So I would need it to move a bit more. Now, does it have to stop at the low of day? No, it could keep going. But that's just a risk that I'm not going to be willing to take. I want to see how it responds if we get down to this low of day. Is it going to continue farther down, or are we going to try and make a short-term bottom here? We could try to make a short-term bottom here. So 673 is our current low of day. So we'll be watching to see right here at this low if we test it again and if we move up. We're starting to see a little bit of rolling, right? Even though we're kind of still tilted to the downside, it looks like it could possibly be. This is our little floor. This is our low right down here. This wick on this candle is our low. Now, wicks are showing us on the top, the wick shows us the high of the day or the high of the candle. On the bottom, the wick shows us the low of the candle. The body itself of the candle, these are all called candles. The body itself is showing us the open and the close. And if the candle isn't closed yet, it's where it's currently sitting. All right, looking a little put-ish to me. If we beat this low, we may consider another put. But again, that's not a risk I'm willing to take at this place. We need to see it beat this bottom, beat this low. And if it does, we could consider puts, but it may be a little bit too, the move might be a little bit too extended. So we're going to have to wait and see what it looks like. What we're waiting to see is if it gives us a little bounce, a little floor here. And Bitcoin has been all over the map today. My goodness, we had a huge push on Bitcoin all the way up to 90,000. And then it rolled right over and came back down to 86. So Bitcoin has been very volatile today. All right, 673.4 is our bottom on the SPYs. We're sitting at 673.8, so we've got just a little tiny bit to go to retest this bottom. Are we going to do it? We don't know yet. We don't know. It's looking not as committed to a new low, but let's wait and see. We'll wait and see. The other thing I like to look at when I'm trading, because I trade the SPY and sometimes the SPX, I am very interested in what the big tech stocks are doing. They would call them the Magnificent Seven or the Magnificent Eight. These are 7 or 8 stocks that make up a huge chunk of the S&P 500. So this group of stocks called the Magnificent Seven makes up about 40% of the value of the S&P 500. So 7 or 8 stocks making up that kind of value. If those stocks, or one or even two of them, or the whole group goes in a certain direction, that's where the S&P 500 is going to go. Also, that's where the NASDAQ is going to go for the same reasons, because the NASDAQ is also the index that houses the tech stocks. So when we've got the Mag 7 doing something, we want to pay attention. So when I'm looking at my charts here, and we are getting closer to testing this bottom, I'm also watching the Magnificent Seven. What are they doing? Most of them are down today. So we've got NVIDIA down in the basement down here at 4% drop on NVIDIA today. Pretty significant drop for NVIDIA, for any stock. We've also got Broadcom down 5%. That's pretty significant as well. Then we've got Tesla down 2.7%. Google down 2.5%. Getting a small little bounce here. And then Apple 0.5% down. And then we do have Meta and Microsoft up a little bit, but just barely, just up over their flat line. Okay, so here's a little response. This is why we didn't take that put. Do you see what happened here? We built this bottom, and watch this white line here that my cursor makes. I'm going to line it up right under this temporary bottom. Do you see? Look to the left, right here, and look to the right. Where did this candle stop? Right there, right there. That is why I didn't take that put. Now we're getting a little reversal here. Again, for the third time, this is our third try. So we hit over the 20 once, over the 20 twice, over the 20 3 times. Let's see what we do with it. Each time we have reversed and come back down. So now we want to watch and see, are we going to get a different direction? Are we going to continue up, or are we just going to reverse down just like we did these last 2 times? And this is why we wait for confirmation. We don't jump in. That would have been a losing trade. If I'd have taken a put right in here when it was starting to look like it was dumping again, we didn't have enough room to make a profit. And that's exactly why I waited. Now, it doesn't mean we won't break this bottom, because look at it wanting to come back down again. We could, but it's just a risk I wasn't willing to take. Okay. So came back up, beat the 20, came back down. Let's watch and see if we're starting to build a sideways range. This is possible. We could be building a sideways range here. So you can sort of see after this really big dump downward, came up, came down, came up, came down, came up a little bit, coming down. We're still kind of on this lower trajectory, kind of moving lower. So we're not out of the woods yet, but we are trying to build a bottom here. And that's what I'm watching for. If we get a sudden reversal off of this bottom or even somewhere in this whole zone, we could consider trading to the upside. If we break this bottom aggressively, we could consider a quick put to the downside. But right now, it's no man's land. We got to wait. We're in between. We're in between trades. All right. It's always good to have a nice cup of tea while you wait. Because sometimes we just got to wait. All right. Still seeming to get a little slowdown here. $673.7 is kind of where we stopped a few minutes ago. So let's see. These wicks down here are sitting at 673.7. It's looking weak. I won't lie. It's looking weak. It looks like it could drop another leg. It's possible. All right, still holding. Tiny, tiny little ticks. It's just not going anywhere right now. Just kind of holding in this sideways range. And the VIX, by and large, is kind of trading sideways as well. So we hit a high here, came down, hit a higher high, came down, lower high, and this is where we're sitting. So with a lower high on the VIX, that's signaling a potential, doesn't have to happen, potential upturn. So let's see if we get that. Look at, we're getting another bounce here at 673.7. Here's a little teeny bounce. And look at now, the 20 is just right there. All the moving averages are all bunched up. And that's what happens when we start getting what we call range bound or choppy behavior. When the candles start shrinking down and making tiny little moves, all the moving averages start crunching down with it. And that's a symbol, right? These crunch down moving average, they're a signal to us that we're in some kind of chop, some kind of sideways range. All right, but here's a little bounce. Could we consider a call? We could. We could consider a call here. I'm not willing to do it just yet. I need more confirmation because every time we've pushed up, we've come right back down. So 1, 2, 3 times. So I'm not willing to risk an upward move when we really haven't proven that we're going upward yet. And if you're here and you have any questions, feel free to drop those in the chat. I am always happy to answer any questions or even comments that you might have. So drop those in there. I'll answer it to the best of my ability. This stream, as I said at the beginning, it is designed to trade, for us to trade together, but it's also designed for me to teach. So if anyone wants to learn more about trading, get more involved in trading, just jump on in there. I will answer any questions you have to the best of my ability. I've been trading for a very long time. I'm a registered stockbroker. I have my Series 7 and my Series 63. I've been doing this a very, very long time. This is what I do for a living. I don't do anything else. I don't have a job and this is my side gig. This is what I do, and I am profitable. So I am happy to help anybody else along that journey, because it was a tough, long journey for me. I'll tell you that. Getting here took some time. All right. So here's our little mini bounce. Nothing serious yet. We are up over the 20. But right now we can see we're just kind of in, there's not a lot of volume, there's not a lot of volatility, there's not a lot of movement on these candles. So we're kind of in a quiet period, right? But that's okay. That's okay. It'll come back when it's ready. This happens almost every day. At some point of the market, we get a quiet period. The market will kind of just trail sideways for a while. That's very, very common, very normal. And it's wise to stay out of that until you know for a fact that we've changed directions. And we can't tell that yet. We can't tell by looking at this chart whether we have changed directions. It's looking a little bit more encouraging. Looks like we could be building a bottom here. It's starting to look that way, but we haven't changed directions yet. So we have the NASDAQ down 1.2%. So they're down quite a bit more than we are. We're only down 0.67, less than half percentage-wise of what the NASDAQ is down. The Mag 7 as a whole, as an ETF, is down about 1.3%. So it may be that we get another leg down. That is very possible. Okay, and now see, here we go, coming back down. But again, I'm not interested in any trades until we really decisively break through 673.7. So I'm not interested in any downward trades until then. And I'm not really interested in any upward trades until we get up over these recent highs. Because right now you could just say this is a range. If you drew a line right through the middle of it, you'd see that that's where we're trading, pretty much in the middle. A little bit down, but you get my drift. All right, another little dive down here. Here's our test coming up. I've got my cursor right on it. So it's created that sideways little gray line. That's where my cursor is sitting. That is the test, 673.7. That's right where we're at. Do we break it or do we bounce again? It's been trying to hold this level. Not quite breaking it yet. We could also call this a descending triangle. You can sort of see it. I'll draw it out for you. Okay. I'll put on my drawing tool here and we'll draw out this descending triangle, and you'll see it more clearly when I actually draw it out. All right. So the bottom of the triangle is right here. And the top of the triangle is here. This is what's known as a descending triangle. It's a bearish pattern, usually breaks to the downside. And I would say that I see a lot of weakness here too. Even if it weren't for this descending triangle, I'm seeing weakness. Oh, and there we go, breaking 0.7, 673.7. So again, this pattern does usually break to the downside. You can see the bottom is getting broken right now. I might consider puts here. So I'm going to load up the 674 puts. I'm not in them yet. I'm just looking. All right, I'm going to go ahead and jump in those. Punch it, I'm in. All right, punch it, I'm out. That's about 4%, maybe 3%. I'm not going to overstay my welcome on that one. That's a small win, but we're building a new low here, so I'm careful of that. So I'm out of there. If you guys followed on that one, let me know. Drop a note in the chat and let me know if you guys took that trade right there, okay? All right, and you can see we're getting kind of a little bit of a, so we made a new bottom, and is it going to continue down? It could. But that was a really quick 3%, tiny little win for me. I've already taken a couple of wins today, but I'm okay with that because see what it's doing right here. Sometimes this happens when you create a new low. Sometimes you'll get this immediate little reversal off the low. So you got to be fast. You got to get in quickly, in and out. And I think I was in that one for just a few seconds. Let me look and see. I'll tell you. I was in that one for 30 seconds. 30 seconds. But that's okay. That's all right. I'm okay with that. It's a quick little win. It's a little bit of lunch money. I'm fine with that. Because again, look what it's doing here. So we built a new low at 673.0, and now it's wanting to reverse. Well, we don't know for a fact that it's going to reverse, but it looks like it could. All right. There's our bounce. So isn't it interesting how that little triangle played out right when I was talking about it? Now, these patterns don't always play out the way we expect them to. They're not perfect indicators, but when you see them, you would pay attention. All right. So that was our descending triangle. And we took a little dip below and then pulled right back into it. That's why I jumped out as quickly as I did. So I saw us breaking below that bottom. I took that quick put, just a super fast 3%, because look what it did. It just turned right back around and went right back into. Now, is it going to drop some more? It could. This, like I said, this is weakness. We're seeing a lot of weakness here. No buying strength. I'm not seeing buying strength at all. All right. We are getting close to the end of the stream, so I'm going to take a minute and discuss my trading plan for the rest of the day. I trade all day long, market open till market close. And my trading plan for today is, we're at the moment very bearish, meaning we're very negative. We're moving down. We've been moving down. I think we have potentially more to go, and I'm basing that on the NASDAQ being down about 1.4%, almost 1.5%, and we are less than half of that percentage wise. Also tied with the fact that we're seeing NVIDIA, Oracle, Broadcom, all down in the fours, threes and fours percentage wise, Tesla as well. So based on those things, we also have a balance fix. My kind of overview for today is bearish. I think we could go down more. However, as you've seen, I'm very cautious with these bottoms, so we've got to be really careful. My trading plan is going to be, as of right now, watching for these reversals and then taking the move down. Now, at some point, we will likely get a reversal that comes back up to the VWAP. And if we do, then I would be interested in looking at calls. Remember, calls are when it's going up, puts are when it's going down. So if we come back to the VWAP, I might be interested in taking some calls. I'm going to be very cautious because today has been super negative. So I could take calls over the VWAP, but I'm not probably going to take any reversal trades. I'm going to stick with the trend. And there's an old saying, it says the trend is your friend, and that's the truth. Right now, the trend is down. So again, I'm careful of these short-term bottoms, and I'm not going to buy these or sell these bottoms. But if we get little pull up and then response back down, those are the little trades right now. So that's kind of my trading plan for the rest of the day. We took a win on this stream. It was a tiny one, 3%. I had taken a 12% win right when I started the stream. I didn't join the trade with you, but I closed the trade right when we got on the stream. It was when I was already eating. So we took one small win on the stream today. We took two yesterday, and those are both good sized wins. So we're doing really well, and I'm glad you guys are here with me. If you, again, when you're here, drop those questions in the chat. I will teach you everything you want to know. I'm happy to do it. That's why I'm here. We'll be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern with hopefully some more winning trades. And we do have data in the morning, so be aware. We have CPI, that is the Consumer Price Index. That is kind of a big deal for the markets because this is how one of the ways how we gauge inflation in our economy. And the market is super tuned in to our economy. The market is super tuned into what the Fed does with rate cuts and maintaining rates stable. So the market's really keyed in on that. And so things like the CPI, the PPI, those things can really move the markets. So that will be happening before the open, and we will be watching to see. Be careful holding any trades overnight. Now we're getting a bounce here. This is what I've been waiting for. Nice. So be careful if you're an active trader. Be careful holding anything overnight when we've got big data in the morning pre-market. It can mess you up. So be careful with that. But that's my trading plan for today. We did great on this stream, and we'll be back again tomorrow morning again with hopefully some more wins. I appreciate you guys joining me. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.